surprised if he's just to that point where he keeps having TIAs or mini strokes. So I think there's something bigger going on, but now it feels like multiple organs are having issues. And this is the first time I have picked up on that with him. So once again, I don't wish anybody any harm. I do not wish ill against anyone. And honestly, I think he's lasted as long as he has because he is a president, right? Presidents get a level of care that the rest of us don't. And also, too, don't forget, this is for all of you, that if you suspect or you suspect that your loved one is having a stroke, every second counts. And for someone like a president, they would get immediate attention, right? It's not like the rest of us who would be stuck in a waiting room and whatnot. So I do think he's probably better off than a lot of us for that reason. But I do feel that September is a pivotal month for him. When you look at how the eclipses, so we have an eclipse September 7th in Pisces and September 21st in Virgo, how it hits his chart is not desirable. So his house of mortality on September 7th is getting hit. Now, you have to remember, eclipses can actually be quite literal. My brother did pass in March on that eclipse, the March 14th eclipse. So sometimes it can be quite literal to the day, but sometimes it's also part of a bigger cycle and it can take 6 months. Some eclipses can even take longer. But I don't think we're looking at that with him. But what I just want to emphasize is I wouldn't be surprised if maybe nothing happened on the actual eclipse date. And then with the 21st, that's Virgo. Virgo is your health, right? And the way it hits him is also like his voice, his self-worth. And for someone like him who is very proud, I think he's going to have some deficits. I certainly think that by or around the 21st, they're not going to be able to cover this up any longer. Okay. Now, with JD Vance, it's sort of, these eclipses sort of bring him to life in a lot of ways, which would make sense if something happens to 45, JD has to do something. But what I am far more interested in is what the eclipses do to Kamala's chart. So it's hitting, the first one is hitting her 10th house, which is her public role, her career, her status, her visibility, her authority. Second one hits 4th house, her home, rallying her base. That's us. And I apologize to all the Republicans that accidentally come onto my channel. I'm sorry. You are welcome. I'm actually one of the nicer ones. I don't do any name calling. I'm not mean. But she does come to life with these eclipses. These eclipses absolutely ignite her. So while it's bringing 45 down, it's bringing her up. And I do believe, and I've said this before, I do think Vance is going to have his moment in the sun too. So I don't think it's going to be long lived, but I do think, like we've talked about, he's going to have his mediocre rise. And so I thought I would pull some cards looking at these 3 people in September, because I think it's worth looking at. I'm just looking at all of your comments. Thank you everyone for commenting. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. And if you haven't, please subscribe. I am so close to having 35,000 subscribers. It's just a little more than 100 people. So help me get there, please. I'd be so excited. All right, so let's look at, we'll look at JD first. Okay, because I think his is probably the least exciting. But let's take a look at JD. All right, so Spirit, what do we need to know? I see everyone saying there's a cat in back of me. I believe that's Maggie. If it was a calico, that's Maggie. She's 21. She's had a stomach ache since yesterday, so I'm watching her like a hawk. She already has a vet appointment this Thursday, but she does quite well for herself, if you noticed. All right. I have the whole deck upside down. Okay, so he's all in his feels. Okay, he's in his emotions. King of Cups. All right, so he's having a lot of emotions in September. It's Maggie. Thank you, guys. Oh, interesting obstacle. If you're new to my channel, the first card represents what's at the heart of the matter, which is King of Cups. Second card is the obstacle, the challenge, and then the subsequent cards are the outcome. So interesting how the High Priestess is his obstacle, because the High Priestess is the card of secret agendas, hidden motives, things going on behind the scenes. I've said for a long time, I do believe with Project 2025 that they really wanted Vance, but he didn't have the name, right? He didn't have the star power, whatever you want to call it, that 45 had. And so to me, like, this was always a done deal. I've never seen 45 finishing out his 4 years. I just don't see him finishing his term. And so this makes sense. Yeah, he's having a little moment in September, right? Ace of Cups. Aces are always new beginnings. And so he starts off, in September feeling a little bit tumultuous, upset. But now, you know what? He's feeling a lot better about things, and he's networking and making relationships and allies. Oh, is he happy? 10 of Cups. Yeah, that's him having a bit of a moment here. The card of like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, peace, love, and happiness. And bottom of the deck. I'm sorry, the Hierophant. And, the Hierophant is a very governmental type card. So that is him very happy with the government. Things are going his way. I would say he is stepping up in September. That is my feeling. Sharon says those cats pill for jewelry. Yes, they do. Actually, we shouldn't say cats. It's Annie. Annie is my little kleptomaniac. Maggie, not so much. But Maggie will drink out of your cup, though. If you give her 2 seconds, she is naughty like that. So, yes, Sugar Wildflower. He is salivating for his new power. Yes, he is. I didn't think it was an accident when he said, "Oh, I'm ready to step up." No, that was very premeditated. He knows. Okay. So let's take a look at 45 and then we'll look at Kamala. So 45 in September. 45 in September. Six of Cups. I'm going to put them all out first. I want to see where this is going. Obstacle. This is a card of vitality, right? Ace of Wands. A fertile new beginning, your passions, your enthusiasm, your excitement, and it says obstacle. 8 of Pentacles. Interesting. The Justice card. Very interesting. Can you see that? 6 of Swords. So, it's interesting that if I go one further out, Wheel of Fortune. I am taking this card, the 6 of Cups, at face value. And it's a very childlike card. It's the only card out of 78 cards in tarot that only has children. And so I feel like his cognition has declined. If you've seen him speak recently, half of what he says just isn't making sense. And it's such a stark contrast because people are now starting to put on social media him from, say, 20 years ago on different talk shows. He spoke so differently. He spoke like the rest of us. He was speaking clearly, succinctly. It was making sense. You may not have agreed with him. I get that. But it wasn't that weirdness that he does, right? With all the extra adjectives and the sounds and all of that. So his obstacle, Ace of Wands, in September, he's losing his life force. He's losing his vitality, his vim, his vigor, that sort of thing. He's going to try to push through as much as he can, right? He's going to try to hold on, but Justice card, the decision may not be his to make. He may want to hold on, he may try to keep working, but then the powers that be are going to say, you're not really functioning, okay? And then there's only 3 cards in tarot where the character's back is turned and they're going. And the Wheel of Fortune, it's pre-fated, it's destined, it's part of his karmic cycle. So I do think that we are going to see the, if not the end, then the beginning of the end, right? Because like I said, eclipses can take a little bit to play